So Michael Moore has been doing a bunch of cable news interviews, and to my surprise, he's really been sounding the alarm and warning Joe Biden about missteps that could make it so he loses the White House to Trump. And the reason why this is noteworthy is because Michael Moore actually has a really phenomenally good track record in terms of his political predictions over the years. So in 2016, he thought Trump was going to win, and he was warning about it, screaming it from the rooftops. He thought Trump was going to win. He was one of very few people who thought that. In 2020, he thought Biden was going to win. And then also in these midterms, as everybody and their mother was screaming red wave, red wave, red wave, Michael Moore was very aggressively saying, nope, not going to happen. You guys are reading the data all wrong. Here's the correct analysis. It ain't going to be no red wave. And he was right. Well, now he's out there saying to Joe Biden, for the love of God, for moral reasons, for ethical reasons, but also for political reasons, you have to stop aiding and abetting Netanyahu's slaughter of Gaza. And so here he is on MSNBC. And again, he's going to issue a dire warning to President Biden. Let's listen.
Earlier this week, you said what Biden is participating in is something that is killing civilians and children. More than 30,000 Palestinians have now been killed in this ongoing war. At this point, does the president stand a chance at winning back some of those or any of those uncommitted voters? Would calling for a ceasefire at this moment be enough?
No, but it would go a long way.
By the way, I actually don't think that's true for this reason. They did, I think it was CNN, did like a focus group with Michigan voters who were voting uncommitted. And about half of them said, yeah, if he does a ceasefire, of course, I'd vote for him. And the other half said it's already too far gone. There's no way. And so he certainly would win back some of them. There's a question as to how much. The evidence we have right now is about 50%. But there's that.
Speak for everybody who voted, obviously. We organized this campaign. Listen to Michigan, Mr. President, please. We organized this in less than 3 weeks. So, I mean, this was the most amazing thing to have happened. To have over 100,000 Michiganders, Democrats, I would say the majority, vast majority of whom voted for Biden in 2020, to come out and vote uncommitted, to send that message to the president that not only must there be a ceasefire now, but that we must stop, as Senator Sanders said earlier today, we must stop sending, we shouldn't send another nickel, is what he said, in bombs, guns, planes, bullets to Israel until they stop this madness. And I think that is how people felt going to the polls on Tuesday, that we needed to send a strong message. Now, for people listening to this to think, oh, why are we throwing the election to Trump? I don't know. One thing I think I feel safe saying is that those who voted uncommitted on Tuesday are not going to vote for Trump. My fear, and the reason why those of us started this campaign, is to basically save Biden from himself.
He's right that the people who voted uncommitted are not going to vote for Trump. The overwhelming majority of them are either going to stay home or vote third party. And so there's this smear now that's out there, the people who vote uncommitted. It's like, oh yeah, you're effectively voting for Trump. That's made up. Let's call it what it is. It's made up, and it's hyper-partisan brainworms when people say that.
Because of what he's done to support this massacre, to fund it, to be the bank for Israel in the slaughter of these people, that he is essentially guaranteeing that thousands and thousands of Americans are going to stay home and not vote on election day because they're not going to vote for Trump. But this is how Trump could win, because that 150,000 he won by in 2020, Hillary lost Michigan by just 11,000 votes. Yeah. That's 2 votes on average, 2 votes per precinct in Michigan. That's it. That's how close this could be. And to have 100,000 plus come out on Tuesday and say, you know what, our conscience will not allow us to support this.
Right.
And if people say, well, so does your conscience allow you to let Trump win? No. What it means actually to me personally is that now I've got to double and quadruple my efforts to make sure Trump loses, because Biden is working against me. Biden is working against the Democrats. The Democrats in Michigan, first of all, 75% of the people in Michigan, according to the last poll I saw, want the ceasefire and want this massacre to stop. That's Republicans and Democrats. So the fact that Joe Biden isn't listening to the people is a sad thing. It's going to hurt him if he doesn't change now. And going on TV a couple days before the primary with Seth Meyers, poor Seth, stuck with the ice cream cone there with Biden, and when Biden promised that there would be a ceasefire by this Monday.
Right.
From your reporting here on MSNBC, that doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
You all know why he did that, right? He did that because the Michigan primary was coming up, and they knew there was going to be an uncommitted push. They knew about the campaign for people to vote uncommitted to stand up to his policy in Gaza. And so Biden cynically said, with Seth Meyers holding his ice cream cone, that, oh yeah, we're looking at Monday. Disgusting, man. Disgusting lie.
And so, what do we who don't want Trump back in there do at this point? Because, and again, I can't speak on behalf of the Arab and Muslim Americans in Michigan who voted, but I've heard from enough of them, and I've heard from enough young people of all ethnicities and races and genders. Young people hate war, mainly because they're the ones sent to war to die in those wars.
Can I ask you about that real quick, though? Can I ask you, you bring up a really important point that I want to ask you about, because how broad is this coalition? There is this perception, certainly some in the mainstream media are trying to portray this as an Arab American thing or a Muslim American thing, saying, hey, the guy on the other side wants to deport you. You're a part of this. You tell us, how broad is this coalition that is behind this uncommitted vote? Who is it?
Listen, I'm going to tell tales out of school here. Those of us who were involved in or helping organize and promote this on Tuesday, the Listen to Michigan campaign, we were hoping to get maybe 10 to 15,000 votes. That was it. A few people, the optimists, thought maybe 30,000. The fact that it was over 100,000 means it was it wasn't just the 9,000 people in Dearborn or the other Arab cities in Michigan where, we have an Arab American mayor and an Arab American city council, Hamtramck, Michigan. No, this was, of course, yes, it was Muslims and it was Arab Americans, but it was also vast, vast numbers of young people who just said, that's it, I'm out. I'm not going to vote for Trump, but I'm out of this. If this guy is going to continue the war, if he's going to continue to embrace Netanyahu, I will not participate in this. And so you had young people, you had progressives, you had all kinds of Democrats. As I said, the vast majority of Democrats in all the polls are against Biden funding and arming this war. So why wouldn't Biden listen to this? He wouldn't even acknowledge it. And when he won the primary, and then in thanking the people of Michigan, just ignored the 100,000 people. If as Michelle Goldberg said in the New York Times last Friday, if he loses Michigan, he loses the election. Why would you risk that, President Biden? Why? Why are you? This is when you need to be a politician. It's what you should do is the moral thing, which is stop the carpet bombing, stop the slaughter, make sure aid comes in. Don't be dropping aid with parachutes like it was some kind of Looney Tunes cartoon. You know, you've got 2 million people starving to death, and you're dropping a few hundred parachutes. Is that a joke? Is that like the ice cream announcing we're gonna have a ceasefire by Monday? This is not funny. This is not a joke. And the young people of Michigan, the people of color in Michigan, Michigan, we have, 13, 14 black cities, majority black cities, Detroit, Flint, Saginaw, Benton Harbor, Pontiac. These are African-American cities. They don't support this.
Damn, he's going in, man. He's going in. Understand something, guys. Michael Moore, he's a lefty. There's no denying that. But he's also historically been kind of a Democratic team player. He supported Bernie Sanders in the primaries, but when Bernie lost, he was like, okay, fine, I'll deal with the establishment Democrat. He's a very loyal Democrat, even though he's a lefty. And for him to be out there saying this stuff, and for him to have the track record he does, being right about all the elections he was right about when almost everybody else was wrong about some of them, man, it should send a chill down your spine that, it's all laid out there on the field in front of us. We see what could happen, and he's warning about it, and they're just not listening.
It's but they supported Biden. I support Biden. We voted for Biden. We want to vote for him again. But a lot of people, and this is what I was saying about our friends in the Detroit area who are Palestinian, who have family members who have died in these last almost 5 months, family members that have been killed by in Dearborn, in Detroit, their tax dollars. They help to fund the slaughter of their grandparents, their cousins, their nieces, their nephews. And I'm just asking anybody who's watching this right now, who's not Arab, not Muslim, if you discovered that the United States, your country, funded and carried out through the production of these arms that are given to Israel, carried out the slaughter of your grandparents, tell me what you would do.
Oh, man, this is brutal. He's laying the smack down without even trying, man. Will they listen? I don't know. I mean, look, this is MSNBC. This is the Democratic Party Defense Network. And on MSNBC, these things are being said. As we pointed out the other day, Bernie was on MSNBC with a different host, and she was going in. Alex Wagner was going in. Christiane Amanpour on CNN. She's had massive issues with how biased CNN has been in favor of Israel. She came out and did a segment about how everybody in Gaza is eating bird feed, and now the bird feed is running out, and people are starving to death. Something has changed in terms of the media, in terms of the public perception in general. And but again, we're up against that brick wall that is Joe Biden and all the AIPAC money he takes. And everybody's warning him. Everybody's warning him 50 ways to Sunday. And then guess what? If he loses, what are they going to do? They're going to turn around and blame the left. Even though they gave you so much of a warning, so many warnings. Like, dude, just change course on this. If Biden changes course, if Biden cuts off the money and the weapons, if Biden sanctions Israel or condemns Israel at the UN, tries to force a peace deal on him, you gain back at least 50%, probably about 50% of the people who voted uncommitted, and then you can win. But are they going to do that? I don't know, man. It doesn't look promising. But hey, shout out to Michael Moore. Shout out to Michael Moore because he always surprises you, you know? I mean, he made some great... Go watch the documentary Sicko if you haven't seen it. That was his expose on the U.S. healthcare system and how rotten and decrepit and disgusting it is. Go watch that. That's one of a bunch of... I like a lot of the documentaries he made. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And every now and then he surprises you and he just comes off the top rope with a super based take, and that's what he's doing right here. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.